How's it going?
Hello.
I'm so glad our Zoom automation did not fail us. It first time. I was like in anticipation. I'm like, please work, please work.
Oh, did you set the recording? I didn't start.
No, I joined it as the recording in progress, so maybe it just automatically does it, which is great for us. The amount of meetings that we have forgotten to record, not us in this group, obviously, just we use Zoom at work, and someone always has to be like, should we be recording this?
Yeah, same. Okay. Yeah, I have no idea how that happened, but I'll allow it. Yeah, I believe Warren was
Oh,
about
that's right.
50, and then Jennifer is installing Zoom on her laptop.
Right on.
So
Should we wait for Jennifer?
yeah, I think we can.
Yeah,
I think
cool.
I'm good with that.
If anyone wants to go grab snacks, water.
Yeah, I know sometimes it can take a while, so yeah, I'll give her like another minute, and then if not, she's already seen my intro, so I can do that.
Right on. Yay!
Yes. Yeah.
Jen is in the house.
Shiny new Zoom.
Oh, hello. Can you all hear me? Like asking me for all these permission stuff first. Sorry, should have set this up before. Hi everyone, I'm Jen.
I'll give you a heads up right
Hello.
now. If you need to share your screen, it's probably going to get you to quit Zoom.
I know, I was just thinking that. There we
Like,
go.
Zoom is
I'll probably have to
fantastic at
redo
doing that.
it.
If you have a Mac. All right. Yeah, I think I'm good with getting started now. Yeah, what I was thinking is we'll start with intros. Myself and Asan are going to demo how to pair program, and then Jennifer is going to review our work in front of you. And then Jen is going to go through your issues for the week. But
Awesome.
cool. Yeah, I guess I'll start with myself. I'm Danielle Heberling. I'm one of the mentors with this group. I am geographically located in a suburb of Portland, Oregon, and I've been a software engineer professionally for about 8 years. Just started working in engineering management. And why I am passionate about things like the Collab Lab is because I am a career changer as well. I attended code school in like 2017. And prior to that, I was a kindergarten through eighth grade music teacher. And then I worked in tech support for many years. So, yeah, really excited to get more folks into tech and just hoping to make it a friendlier place for all. So, yeah, let's have the other two mentors go. We just do pop.
Right on.
Go ahead, Asan, and then Jen.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, cool. Thank you. Howdy, folks. My name is Asan. I'm a front-end software engineer at Zapier. Professionally, I've been doing software engineering for about 2, 3 years now, so relatively new to it. I'm located in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Um, I don't know all the things that Danielle shared. So why I'm doing collab labs, I love the fact that we have dedicated people that are there to elevate people that are trying to get into this field. I know Stacy has echoed this a lot, but there's a lot of gatekeeping that happens. And I love that we have a lot of folks that are just dedicated to elevating other people. And I'll popcorn it over to Jen.
Hi everyone, I'm Jen. Sorry for the bit of a frazzled appearance. I have a 5-year-old and we just came back from a play date. But I also am a career transitioner. I was actually in Collab Lab back when Andrew used to recruit people in person. He used to join events. This is pre-COVID, and he would join events. He would hit up junior dev events and he'd be like, "Hey, would you like to join something called the Collab Lab?" And so I was in TCL 5. And then I have mentored a couple different cohorts since then. But it's been a while since I mentored, so I'm really excited to get back up and with it because I was always, just like Asana, I was very touched with the community when I wanted to career transition, and I really appreciated all the good vibes and just all the help that I got from just random strangers I didn't know, and then we eventually became friends. So Collab Lab has been an instrumental part in kind of my career taking off, and I've been a software engineer basically ever since I met Andrew, and so I'm really excited to keep this going. I also live in a suburb of Portland, Oregon. I live right on the border between Portland and the suburb. And let's see, what else? That's mostly it about me. Popcorn, let's see. Do you pronounce it Dilek?
Yes, correct. Yeah. First of all, thank you all for sharing your stories. They're all so interesting and lovely to hear. And yeah, I'm very excited to be a part of this. Yeah, so my name's Delek and I live in Brooklyn, New York. And I'm a career changer. I currently work as a graphic designer, and I am also a freelance illustrator. I've worked for clients like Scientific American and Fast Company. And I fell in love with programming because I was just seeking, I mean, I went to art school, right? So I didn't really feel that I learned anything substantial in the way that I got to be curious and learn something more every day. And it kind of just happened when I decided I wanted to build my own website, my own portfolio website, and I just really got into it. And why Collab Lab? Well, I've been self-teaching for about 2 years now. I've volunteered for like Women Who Code when that was still around. Unfortunately, it's now defunct. And just getting involved in community, I realized that that's the way you grow as a developer, is by meeting other developers and hearing about their stories and building community. And I really like seeing what has been done with the Collab Lab. And yeah, I'm very excited. So thank you. Am I supposed to pass the popcorn off now? All right, so I'll pass it off to Veronica.
Hello, can you hear me well? Awesome. I apologize, I have some technical issues today. Not sure why. My name is Nika. I go by Nika. I'm Russian and I am currently based in Belleville, New Jersey. How it all started for me. So I was actually pursuing pastry, but last year I've gotten injured. So that kind of led to me needing to change my life a bit. And why programming? As a kid, I just liked digging in a computer, breaking my Windows, breaking my Linux. That was all, I liked that. So when I was faced with the need to change my life, it was a kind of no-brainer that I should, go back to programming. And here I am. It's been a year. I enjoy it very much. I cannot believe I have not been doing this all the while. I'm extremely excited to be accepted into the Collab Lab. When I was just looking for apprenticeships and looking around, it was actually back in winter that I learned of the Collab Lab, and I thought it was so awesome. People just collaborate. Where else do you get this collaboration experience? And it seems so crucial. So, I had an alarm for whenever the summer cohort was opening. So I'm sure I applied on the first day. The applications, were allowed when I was allowed to apply. And I was so excited to be accepted. I hope to have the best time of my life here. And thank you all so very much. Thank you. Am I the last one?
I'm the last one.
I passed it to Gabrielle.
Oh, awesome. Hi, I'm Gabrielle. Sorry, I don't have my camera. We're stuck in traffic right now, heading home from our weekend trip. But my name's Gabrielle. I used to work as a project manager in higher ed and was seeking a career change, wanted to do something more technical, and kind of just fell in love with coding. So I went to a code school and I just graduated 10 days ago. So now I'm kind of in limbo trying to search for jobs and figured this would be the perfect thing to do in the meantime. So I'm really excited to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks everyone. Really excited to get to know you all better over the next 8 or so weeks. I guess let's transition into demoing here. If you're ready, Asan.
Did you want me to go ahead and share my screen here?
Yeah, I think you should have permission. If not, let me know.
Let's try it out. Let me know when folks can see this.
Oh, yep. We're
Okay,
good.
cool. Yep. And then let me know if it's too small or too big. I can always adjust as well. Okay, cool. So for this first demo, I'm going to be the driver and Danielle is going to be the navigator. Essentially, those are the two roles when it comes to pair programming. You just have someone that's at the keyboard, kind of just working away, and then navigator is kind of that person that has like a high level view of everything that's kind of going on, and they can kind of navigate and help out if they need to. So the first thing we're going to do is kind of have a peek at the project board. And so essentially the project board is in our Git repo on GitHub. So we're just going to go under projects and we're going to pull up our project right over here. And the issue that we're going to be demoing today is essentially issue number 1. So the first thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and bring it over to in progress because we're going to start to work on it. The idea behind the project board is that as you move your issues from start to end, it should be going through these different columns. So we have in progress, peer review, mentor review, and of course, when you have that mentor review done, it's going to be done. So let's go and open it up here. The first thing I'll do here is just read through the issue. It's so important to read through the issue just so you understand what needs to be done. And this is a really great time to collaborate with other people. So somebody must have opened this issue. If you don't really understand what it's trying to achieve, reach out, be loud, be like, hey, I don't understand the specific acceptance criteria, or do you have something in mind of like how you want to tackle this? And there's a lot of collaboration that happens even before you start working on something. So let's start with summary. Being able to sign in is a fundamental part of the app. Not only will it allow us to connect users to the shopping list they have access to, but it will also prevent users from being cluttered with other data and keep their own data from being messed with. This provides a layer of personalization and security to the app. Auth is already set up in Firebase, but there's no way for users to sign into the actual site. We already have use auth hook. We just need to set it up so that we have a solid foundation for the rest of our issue. Cool, so that's a pretty good summary. And then acceptance criteria. Kind of think acceptance criteria is like what the definition of done is. So for you to be able to say, hey, I've tackled this ticket, acceptance criteria have to be met. So essentially on here, there's 3 of them. So the first one, the use auth hook as well. The use auth hook as well as the sign in button and the sign out button components are important to layout JSX. The sign up button is displayed on every page when the user is not signed in, and then the sign out button is displayed on every page when the user is signed in. So for the purpose of this demo, I'll be going and tackling the first acceptance criteria, and then Danielle and I are going to do a switch roles, and then she's going to be tackling the next 2. So on the left side, I have my VS Code. That's my IDE of choice. And so really, what I've done so far is I've cloned the repo. Before I get started with really anything, the first thing I always like to do is make sure that I have the latest copy of main. So I always want to build on the work that's already being done. So what I'm going to do here is just go over to the side under my source control, and then I can see that main is not up to date. There's actually 2 changes that need to be pulled down before main can be up to date for me. So I'm going to go ahead and sync these 2 changes. And that's how I kind of know that I have everything kind of up to date before I get started. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Real quick, I like to work in the terminal on my device, and I noticed that you're working within VS Code. I mean, it seems like that's what you would expect us to do, to work in VS Code to push
That's a
changes.
really great question. Yeah,
Thanks.
I'm hoping that I can get away with VS Code, and then Danielle, if you're okay tackling the command line prompts,
Yeah.
go for it. If that's cool. What I love about my workflow is I can do it in the command line. I'm a very visual person. I need to
Okay.
have like pop-ups and notifications and whatnot. If you like, we can definitely go over the commands as well. For this one here is essentially just git fetch.
Okay.
And then git pull.
Right.
And that's pretty
Cool.
standard to just get up to date. But yeah, 100%, great question. Awesome. The next thing that we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and create a feature branch, because one of the things that we decided as a collective is we don't like merging to main. It can be very dangerous. And there's always a opportunity to collaborate before things get merged. So that's where the kind of the progress of like the process of like having your own branch and then creating a pull request kind of comes in. So let's go ahead and create a branch here. I'll do it the VS Code way if that's all right. So in case you're interested, how I would tackle this is I would just click on main at the bottom left side, and I would go create new branch. If you're using the terminal, you can just go git and then I think space -b and then checkout. And then you would type in the name of the branch itself. So we're going to go and create a new branch. And then Danielle, how do we, what's the syntax for the branch itself? I think it's first name, last name, initial kind of thing, right? So like
Yeah.
AH, and then yours would be DH,
DH, yeah.
and then auth. Does that sound good?
I think that sounds good to me.
Yeah,
It
we'll do
does
that.
in the project brief for sure. So if you all are doing your pairing
okay.
later and it says different, let's just follow what it says in the project brief.
Right on.
But
That's
yeah, that's
awesome.
good for now.
Okay, cool. And then what I did here was I just pressed return, and I always like to make sure that it did reflect. So we went from main to the branch that I'm working on, so I know I'm on the right branch here. Cool. And what I'm going to do here now is just go ahead and go to my file browser. Let's go back to the acceptance criteria. So essentially what we're trying to do is the use auth hook as well as the sign in button and the sign out buttons components are in the layout JSX. So let's go and find out where the use auth hook is. So I think that's under our source, under API, and then there's the use auth. And essentially, this is very common. When you first start a job, there's going to be an existing code base if it's not like a startup, and there's going to be a lot of files that already exist. So the first thing you always want to do is kind of navigate around the files and have a pretty good idea of where everything is. And so let's maybe go through this file and see what it has. So essentially it has really 3 things. It has the sign in button component, sign out button component, and then the use auth hook. They seem to be all being like named exports. So what we can do is, because they're already exported, let's just go ahead and find our layout JSX. Now, one thing that I absolutely love about VS Code is they have this command center palette thing right here. So if you're looking for a file, you don't know where it is, you can go and click on that and then just type in what you're looking for. So layout JSX. And if you click on it, it'll kind of show you where that file is. And so for us, it's under views and then layout JSX. Awesome. So we found the file. We know what we're trying to import. Let's go and import it in. So let's go and import. And then what we're trying to do is import use auth. Perfect. And the other file we want is sign in. What we may need to do here is we may need to actually go ahead and use the exact path here. And then I think it'll find what we're looking for. There we go, sign button and then sign out button. Awesome. So let's have a look at the exceptions criteria again. Use auth hook, sign in button, sign out button are all important to layout JSX. That seems to be exactly what we want to do. Let's go ahead and save this. Perfect. So I'll go over both approaches here. What you can do here at this point is you can either do git and then dot and then, or sorry, git add dot, and that will add all the files. It'll stage them. And then you can do git commit in the terminal. What I'll do at this point here is I'll just do it through the source control. So let's go ahead and copy this over because it's exactly what we're trying to do. And in this commit message, I'll go ahead and say, use hook as well as the sign button are imported to the JSX. Okay, cool. Let's go and commit this in. And I'll go ahead and publish this branch. We're not going to create a pull request just yet because we're going to actually both be committing to the branch, and then Jen will be the one who approves this. One really great thing about GitHub or GitLab is that if you have a branch that you commit into, you can't be the person that approves that change. It has to be someone else that approves it. So then that's why we have Jen here as well. Sorry, another question.
Yes. Well, thank you for sharing all that. This is kind of somewhat unrelated. Well, it's unrelated to pushing changes to a branch and everything, but something that I thought about. So when working on tickets or issues, I personally don't really like to use ChatGPT or anything like that because I actually want to like struggle through the problem. I have no problem with anyone who does use it. Since I'm learning, I want to actually learn without getting the answer right away. So would you agree to this? Would you agree that perhaps we shouldn't do that? Perhaps we should actually read documentation in order to strengthen our understanding and be honest with what we're writing in code, right? With our skill level.
I think that's a really good question. I recently came across a quote by the Primogen. He's a very known teacher on like front-end mastery, and he said that the learning doesn't really happen in tutorials. It happens on like the journey, because when you're watching a tutorial, everything's like perfect. So everything's kind of done for you, and so you don't struggle through the learning. I think the struggle through the learning is when the learning actually takes place. So I think that is correct. I think struggling through code and learning the best practices is a really great way of getting to where you need to be. I think there's always opportunities to leverage AI. I mean, it is so prominent in our workplace and our field right now. So there's always a way to leverage it. But I think to your point, I think there's definitely benefit in struggling through things to learn the best way of doing it. Yeah, hopefully that answers the question. Yeah, cool. At this point, because the branch has already been pushed, what I'll do is I'll stop sharing my screen, and then Danielle's going to just take over and kind of go through the process of pulling that branch down and making other changes to it.
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen here. Cool. Okay. So I actually have not cloned this yet on this computer. So I'm going to go through and do that. Yeah,
I've never seen a terminal in light mode before.
Oh, I am all light.
I love that.
All day.
I love that.
Yeah, I have really bad eyesight, so I have problems with seeing dark mode personally, but to each their own. Definitely no hate for either.
That's cool. That's cool.
So I use VS Code as well. So we're currently on the main branch. To get pull origin main, just to make sure I have everything. And then git checkout. That is not what I'm looking for. Let's do git fetch origin. Did you push that up, Asan?
I think it was pushed up, but let's have a quick look
Okay.
here.
Out. Was it age? DH.
Yeah, there we go. That's the one I'm
Auth.
looking for.
Cool. This is not helpful. Yeah, this is a case where not having this is helpful. Cool. Okay. So you got to switch out to the branch. I usually like to do like git fetch origin just to make sure I have all the branches locally. I think there's might be other ways to do it too. So whatever works best for you is good with me.
So git remote v shows you the the origin branch and then the one that you're currently on, right? I think. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, and like
Thank
if you forked a repo, you'll have origin, and then you might have something called upstream potentially.
Right. Correct.
So yeah, some people like to go with the forking. Sometimes you have to if you're contributing to open source. Personally, I think forking makes it a little more complicated. So that's my bias. But cool, let's get back to the issue. Bump my stuff up. Okay. So we got to make sure the sign in button is displayed on every page if the user is not signed in. And then we have to make sure the sign out button is displayed if the user is signed in. So we already have it imported. I think it's under views, layout JSX. Let me get rid of my terminal. So let's take a look here at the use auth. Yeah, so with use auth, it'll return a user here. So what I like to do is, let's do it outside of our rendering function. Yeah, it's autofilling for me. Maybe I'll just turn it off.
It knows you too well.
Yeah, I forget how to even turn this off.
That's it. I had to do the same thing before the demo. I was like, it'll know exactly what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Just pause it.
Static.
I think it's disable completions.
Disable completions. Yeah, I think
there we
right,
go.
that's it. Okay. Use auth. Yeah, now this is just good old fashioned. Cool. Okay. And like this is just personal preference. I usually like to leave a space. When you work with a team, sometimes they might use something like Prettier that'll do auto formatting for you, but I'm not sure if this has that. Yeah, it does. Maybe.
I think it's looking for the file that I can't find.
Yeah. But
Oh,
anyway,
no, it is in there. Interesting.
yeah, I think it is.
Hmm.
Okay. So since I just cloned this in npm CI, and the instructions for how to get started, I believe, are in the README. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, here it is. Clone the project
Nice.
locally, CD into the directory. And then for this one, it'll be npm CI. And then I think it might be npm start. Yeah, let's do npm start. So this is my shopping list. I'm going to do this on another screen just to make it easier if I can. Cool. Okay, so we don't see the sign in, sign out yet. I'm going to keep that running. And what we want to do is just have it. So like this is like my layout. This is my navigation. I think, yeah, there's many ways we can do this. But I think maybe the best place to do it would be like within this nav. Within the div, we can just add another anchor tag. And then we could do something like user, because here we're calling use auth to see if a user exists. If there is a user, meaning if I'm logged in, we'll do the sign out button. I love how it autofills incorrectly. And then if there isn't a user, it means I'm not logged in. So we'll do the sign in button. I think this is going to auto. There we go. Cool. I think this might work. Let's see. Refresh my screen. Okay, so it's going to be down here. See if I can bump this up. So I've got my sign in. Actually, I'm going to do this in Firefox. I have Google Chrome as my default browser in this. Yeah, question? Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So, as I understand, every time we have something assigned to us, we're going to work on that. Though, of course, the creative in me is looking at this, and I see that the very last ticket is in regards to styling the app. So how would that? I mean, I'm very much ahead of myself here. I understand, but how would that be delegated since there's 4 people, right? 3 people working on this project. 4
Yeah,
people. Thank you.
That's a fantastic question, actually. I think that's fine to ask now. Yeah, how it's planned out is we get the functionality in first, and then at the very end is when we add styling. The beauty of, I believe it's the last 1 or 2 weeks, you all will actually be self-organizing on what you want it to look like. In past groups, I've seen people like they would split off and then they would kind of pitch their own design. In some groups, people like already were like, oh, this person's great at design, we'll have them do it. And then like split out the work of what it looked like. So that is totally up to you all, how you want to organize that. But we will definitely get to that in later weeks for sure. So
Yeah, just to add to that, I think that's the beauty of collaboration, right? Because you know, you obviously expressed your intent. You're like, hey, this is something that I think I would excel at. You know, how does my team feel about tackling that? What I would do is even have like async conversations on Slack. Just be like, hey, team, like, how do you want to break this work down? Is it okay if I tackle this? The key thing here is just to be loud, and then just as soon as you want to communicate something, just communicate it, right? Because it takes away any miscommunication, and then everyone's aligned on kind of how things need to be broken down. So great question. Collaborate. Collaborate is the answer to everything in Collab Labs.
But yeah, that's actually like a big problem that I've seen past groups have, because they don't like looking at an ugly shopping list. So sometimes people will start doing the styling a little earlier than they should be. Personally, I would advise against that. As much as you are like tempted to really want to make it pretty, it's a lot more to dig through. And then when something's not working, it's like more confusing. But that's my unsolicited advice there from what I've seen. So, but anyway, yeah, let's check to make sure this works. I think we should be. Okay, so this opened up in another tab here. We have Google sign-in enabled for our Firebase. And I have these 2 Gmail accounts. I'm going to log in as me. And then after I logged in, you'll see that it turned into sign out. We can ignore this for now, and then I don't know if sign out works yet. It may or may not. I think I might have seen something in the chat. Hold on. Okay, cool. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss the question. And then what we're going to do once this gets approved is we're going to merge it, and then we're going to have you all click sign in because we need to make sure that your user is enabled for testing. So like right here, you see me, Asan is already in here. So we want to make sure by the end of this meeting that everyone that's here is signed in, and then we can work with Warren and make sure that he can get signed in as well. But I think this looks good. What do you think?
I was going to say, I'm going to put on my navigator hat and see if I can make a few suggestions here. So
sure.
I love the way you did it. The ternary to, you know, to like not do a if else condition and just use a ternary instead. I think that's brilliant. Nicely done there. I think there may be an opportunity to maybe just move it below the header. It seems like an odd place to put it, like right at the bottom. What do you think?
I think that might work. Let's see. Okay, so we're thinking like outside of the main.
Yeah, exactly. Like right after header. So we can just paste it right there, and maybe let's have a look at what that looks like.
Let's see. Looks like I might want to do another div. Yeah, there it is up to the left.
Right on.
I think that might work.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think I'm good with that.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. So I'm going to do git commit, show, hide, sign button. Then I'm going to do git push. Yeah. Let's make sure it's up there. Should I do the honors for the pull request here?
100%. Let's make it
Okay.
happen.
So usually when you push it up, like it'll highlight it. If it's not available, you can just go into pull requests, new pull request, and then you'll want to pick your branch. And we've also configured this, so when you merge it, it will delete your branch up in GitHub. You will still have it locally, but up in GitHub, it'll auto-delete. So cool. So yeah, usually what I like to do is just kind of glance at it, make sure things look okay, and then I'll do create pull request. And I think I want to do
Brilliant title.
issue 1, just kind of make it super obvious. Let's do a better thing than that. To app. Okay, and then we have a pre-configured template here. There's a lovely link of if you need an example. I can get this up. Maybe. There we go. I'm going to close this. It's too noisy. But like, here's an example of a way that you can fill this out if you would like to look at that. For time's sake, I'm going to fill this out. So we've got the description. So I'll say it like this: PR adds functionality that will show a sign out button if the user is logged in. If the user is logged out, it will show the sign in button. Something like that is probably good enough. Just to
I
make
like
sure
it.
when looking at this, knows what's here. A related issue. I always like to just do this. And that will like actually heavy link it in GitHub, which is cool. Acceptance criteria. Oh yeah, let me get back to that one. I'm gonna do duplicate tab just so I can get back to it quickly. Yeah, can I edit this? Just so I can copy paste it. Yeah, so what I would do here is I would copy paste this. And actually, I should check these off too while I'm here. I forgot to do that. But yeah, I usually like to copy paste. And then this is kind of a great like, oh, did I do everything? Because sometimes these issues will have like multiple things. So this is a good like double check. Ugh, there we go. Okay. So use one or more labels to help your team understand the nature. So labels will be here. Let's see what we should do. It might be an enhancement. Let's do
I'd say
that.
so. Yeah.
Refactoring. I think that's the only one that applies to me, but you can also edit labels and add more. Yeah, there we go. You can hit edit labels. Feel free to add more. This is your repo as much as it is ours. Cool. So yeah, I'll just do enhancement. Before if UI feature, provide screenshots. Okay. So I'm gonna do a shortcut for this one. If you go into like our channel at the top here, you can see deployed project. Let me see if I can copy the link. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this. Yeah, that's kind of my shortcut there for the before, if you don't want to like undo your code changes. All right, before. Okay, it goes to my desktop. Hopefully this is the right screenshot. If not, this is going to be recorded. Cool. So we got our before. And then here we can just do like npm start to do our after. Yeah, screenshots are super helpful, especially in a lot of the types of tickets that are in this project. Okay. It's going to be this one, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so now you can see the button. After. Yeah, it takes a little bit more doing, but I think sometimes actually seeing it is wildly helpful. Okay, so testing steps. And for this one, it's pretty simple, but for others, like this is really key in my opinion. I personally, as a PR reviewer, this is probably the most important thing because we're all busy. We want to make it easy for people to test. So I'll just say like I ran npm start to start the application to localhost 1000. And then I clicked the sign in button, shows my Gmail account. I verified my user was present in the Firebase. So I think that's probably good enough. Create it. Oh, and another cool thing is you can do a draft pull request too. So if you want to put up something for like early feedback, but it's not ready to be reviewed yet, draft is a great way to go. We use that a lot at my work. But cool. So I think I'm going to stop my share and then we will see if Jen likes what we did.
Yeah, and I was going to say
Great. Let's see. Yeah.
before we do
Go ahead.
that, can I just show off the channels that we have in Slack just to show like how to feed, like when is that okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Okay, cool. Let me just share the screen really quickly here. So most of you folks have already seen this, but the reason I want to just demo it really quickly here is as soon as actions happen in GitHub, our feed channel is going to show those. So we can go right to the very bottom. We see that there was a pull request that was opened by Danielle. We do have some automations that are set up here. So if something is ready for someone else to review it, you could actually add a reaction. So there's two that are set up automatically. So there's TCL 75, and so there's to-do mentors and then to-do devs. So of course you need to get a review by your devs, your peers, and then the mentors as well. But this demo here, because we need a review by mentors, I'm just going to go and click on it. What's really neat about that is it helps you save time. So it'll automatically do a post using Zapier that'll say, hey, mentors, this is ready for review. Just have a peek when you can. So as you're doing this, when something is ready for review, just add a reaction on there and it'll automatically either ping the devs or the mentors, and then we'll know that you're ready for the next actionable step. Sorry, Jen. Go ahead.
No, that was so cool. In the meantime, I should have tried to share screen. It's not looking too good for me. Let's see here. Let's try to share my entire screen. And
Still having problems.
Oh, I think Jen had to leave. It was Max saying quit the app and whatnot.
The Mac thing.
Yeah.
This is why I prefer Linux. I say as I did my demo from a Mac computer, but Linux is the supreme operating system.
That's what I hear.
While we're doing this, I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen just one more time, if that's cool. Right on. Okay, cool. Yeah, okay, cool. So just going into this again, once this is ready, there is another automation that is set up here as well. I'm gonna get Jen to demo that one as well, but this one is approved. And then essentially, if you are a peer or a mentor and you've approved something, that's the one that we're going to use. So I'm hoping that Jen can demo this one here. I'm not going to press on anything yet. Jen, welcome back. I'm sorry your permissions kick you out of Zoom, but we're so happy you're back. I'm going to go and stop my screen share.
All right. The bane of everyone's existence, updating a new computer to actually have all your dev environment up. My computer also just told me that NPM doesn't exist. So we're going to do a little bit of an imagination hat here for my scuffed demo. Let's see. Let's try to share this time. Oh, perfect. Great. All right. So first, we're going to go into Spark. You can see I'm already troubleshooting my own stuff because it's a new computer. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go to the TCL GitHub. You can actually see, if you're not familiar with how GitHub works and all the different things, that GitHub or GitLab also has a lot of different features that you can use. So you'll see the Issues tab here. Pull requests is where I'm going to be visiting here in a second to see the pull requests that I've just been tagged on. And then also, if you want to see any of the project reports, they're all here too. So I just wanted to call that out. So if you ever are missing a link, you know how to get back to these places on your own too. So we're going to go into the pull requests. And I know that I had a pull request that was asked to be reviewed. We're going to go in and click it. And so some background information for, as a reviewer, what you're looking for. Well, one, you're looking for a few different things. You're looking for kind of how they approach the problem, what problem they're trying to solve, which is all really good info that you get from the description and the context that they give you. It might seem overkill in this project that like we have so much description to give to the other team since we're working so closely on this project. But you can imagine working on a team with larger issues or larger projects where some people might not even be working on your project that are reviewing your code. Practicing all of this delivering context to your reviewer is very essential. And this is why we actually do this. So let's pretend that I'm working on a cleaned in project and I have no idea what they're doing. So we can go through and see, oh, okay, they just want to add in some auth. They want to add in the sign in button. And then they're using already the utility code that we already provided. And let's see what else they have. They have the related issue if I have any other questions with more context. They've already clicked through all leaks. I can see these are the things that I should be checking for. And this was the before and the after, and I see the sign in button there. So I know specifically the sign in button is a thing that I'm going to have to be testing as the person who is reviewing this PR. At my work personally, we don't actually pull down people's code and run it just because of how much code we're generating all the time and how much code we're reviewing. So a lot of it, we would use something like this section here to see and make sure, oh, they verified this, this, and this. And if there's anything that we feel like they should test locally as well, we would probably put it in the comments on GitHub. So I've seen that they ran everything. They tried the sign-in button, and they submitted it, and they verified that the user was present. And that is great for me. But for our purposes, because we'll all have a local version of this code running, if I had NPM working, I would start this on my own and try to sign in as well. But this is going to be the pretending part of the demo.
Jen, I was going to say, could we maybe try the preview link? Because I know it would have
Yes.
generated one for us.
So
I don't know where to
let's
actually
see.
find it though, but I know it's somewhere in there.
Usually
Oh, there we
here,
go.
right here. So if I click here, I forgot that this is a thing. Oh, look, we don't need NPM locally. Perfect. So I'll go in here and then I'll try sign in. And we'll see. We'll try to sign in with this account. And I'll continue. Perfect. And the sign out button, everything works. Everything's great. So I'll try sign out as well. And it looks like it works. Awesome. So cool, handy little thing there. Oops. Let's go back. All right, perfect. So I was able to replicate all the testing steps that they did, and it looks like everything checked out. So now that I've verified the functionality, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the code. So there's a few different things I'm looking for. I'm looking for, are they using the, move everybody's space here for a second. Are they using all of the shared components and the shared, what do you call it, hook that we've already provided? And it looks like, yep, that looks like the case. They're not going rogue and making their own. That's great. And then we see that we're using the custom hook and also adding in the sign out sign button. So actually, I should take a step back. And so I got to this page by this files changed. So you can see there's a lot of different tabs up here in the conversation, commits, checks, and files changed. Typically, the two tabs I use the most are the conversation tab and the files changed tab. So if you haven't used GitHub before, what's nice, there's all these little different features that I'll show you very quickly. And this, someone asked a question about what commit rules are and stuff. We probably won't be adhering to any like very specific commit rules, but one thing I mentioned is like the act of micro-committing or committing like things together. And you can see that's because at my work, sometimes we'll review things in order. So what that means is like, I'll go in here and I'll select specifically just this commit to see what that diff is, so that I can see the little logical units that the person went through to actually come up with the final solution. Because sometimes PRs can be hundreds of lines of code just because of the nature of the ticket. And so this makes it easier for the reviewer, with the context that you provided, review and more likely to catch other bugs and things like that. So I'll go through, that looks great. We already reviewed that, that looks great. And then I'm gonna show all the commits again. You could also filter files. You can jump to different sections if there's a lot of stuff. And then you can actually also go in here and go in and put in comments. You can do something called add a suggestion. And then this will give you a preview, like if I got rid of this, it'll show you like a different preview. And then it'll show a suggestion in a really nice way. Cancel that. So like Asan said, I really like the way they use the ternary, and I'm going to see awesome. Ternary spelling? Ternary. Okay, I spelled it wrong. Nice. I'm the queen of misspellings. All right, typos. All right, awesome. Ternary. I'm going to set a single comment there. And then once I'm ready to go, the other thing that I like to usually do is use this viewed thing. It just helps you if there's more than one file. You can click it and you can see, oh, okay, I've reviewed all the files. Now I've seen all the diffs and I made sure that I didn't forget anything. I'll go into review changes, and then we'll have three. Okay, my screen's really small, so I'm gonna have to move you guys again. Okay, so we're gonna have comment, approve, and request changes. The request changes button, it looks a little bit scary. It gives you like this really red icon, and some people can find it a little bit aggressive. But please just know, if anyone requests changes are in this, that's not what we mean. It just looks a little bit scary because everything's red. So this is usually clicked like, hey, I don't feel comfortable with approving the PR the way it is, so I would like to request some changes. Comment is just a general comment if you want to kind of talk back and forth. PRs and issues are a great way for us to keep track of threads of conversations about specific items that we want to talk about. So sometimes Slack can get a little bit messy with the different threads that we have. And so this is a good way for us to kind of comment specifically on the stuff that we want to talk about. And then in this case, I just want to approve because it looks great. Looks good to me. Oops, looks good to me. And I'm going to go ahead and hit approve and click submit review. And so that's the general flow of what a reviewer is doing, kind of taking a look at the code. I think the general rule here is that there's lots of different ways to do the same thing. So even if you would have approached the same, let's say, issue in a different way, you can definitely discuss it and say, and ask for maybe why did you choose to do it this way? But we should always kind of be open-minded to, there's lots of different ways to do things. So the PR is not to be like, oh, I'm more right about something. It's more to, this is another venue for you to be collaborative and, oh, have you tried it this way or this way? and then kind of give each other the reasons why so you can learn from each other. So that is reviewing a PR. So once I reviewed it and I've approved it, they will the team that has this PR and is the owner of PR will have the honor of merging in the pull request into main, and then your change will be woohoo in the main branch. So I'm gonna leave the honors to either of y'all over there, and I will stop sharing my screen for right now.
I'm gonna go ahead and defer to Danielle to do it. But maybe we can demo the checkmark reaction really quickly. Would that be cool?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Let me go and share my
Yes,
screen really
yes.
quickly. Sorry, I am all about automation if you guys don't already know this. What I'll get you to do, Jen, is just go ahead and add the checkmark thing to this comment over here.
Okay.
So the pull request was opened. And so the to-do is already in there. We're just going to get you to go ahead in here. And then the one we're looking
That in
for
the feed
is
channel.
exactly, yeah, the TCL feed channel.
And I do check.
The other one.
The other one? Which
Yeah,
one?
so this one will specifically be approved PR.
Approved PR. So, oh, I see.
Yeah. I'm just hoping it works. This is the first time we're trying it out. Yay! Okay, cool.
Okay.
So I'll figure out the linking, but it essentially just says you got approval from this person here, please review it, and then it just kind of tells you the requirements. So it says that you need 2 approvals from your peers and then 1 from your mentor. So once the linking is working, what's really great about this is it keeps things moving, right? So there's a lot of communication that can sometimes be missed. And so our goal is to make sure that everyone is on top of things, everyone's collaborating. And so these automations should just help making sure that, you know, when the ball is in someone else's court, they're ready to take over and bring it home. Awesome.
Yeah. The other thing that's really good to get a handle on is kind of the pacing for the week. I think sometimes it's easy to forget that reviewing does take a second for you to familiarize yourself with what they're trying to do, what they've already done, and to make sure that you can give great feedback. So since we have 2 layers of reviews, it'd be great if pairs could meet earlier in the week, probably by around Wednesday. So we have Wednesday or Thursday. So we have the rest of the week leading up to the meeting. So we have time to give adequate feedback. Everything can be merged in, and then we can demo kind of from the automatically deployed website on the different pull requests. So we can all be in a good spot for the week. Does that sound good to everybody? All right. Cool. All right, so apologies. I have to talk a lot in the second half of this meeting, but if no one has any other questions left, we can kind of quickly go over these different issues for this upcoming week. So I want to leave space though to make sure no one has any other questions. Yep.
Real quick, Gabrielle, I know that we're going to be working together. I think I missed where you're based. What's your time zone? Where are you based?
I'm in Central Time.
Okay, good to know. Okay.
Also,
East Coast.
If you ever want to know what someone's time zone is, in Slack you can hover over their profile and it'll tell you what time is their current time, and then you can kind of figure out from there. It works most of the time unless they're traveling, so you don't want to false advertise. Anyways, no problem. All right, so we can just go ahead and get started on. Okay, I'm gonna have to move your faces again. 1 second. All right, so we can go back. So if we look at here again, we can go back to the issues tab. I already have them open, but we can scroll all the way down and we're working on issues 2 and 3. So I have one up. So this is for Warren, and I'm not sure who this is. Oh.
It's pronounced as query. You know,
Oh,
like
query.
Things?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, is this okay. Veronica, Nika. Okay, I see. I was like, I wasn't sure. All right. So it looks like Warren And Veronica, do you prefer Nika or do you want to be called Veronica?
I do go by Nika, but some people are not comfortable with like shorter names, so it's whatever you're comfortable with.
Okay, well, we could discuss this more later, but I would highly suggest it's whatever you're most comfortable with it. So let us know what you'd like. So let's see here. This is issue number 2. And we're going to be doing a little, you're going to be hearing me talk a lot. We're going to be reading through this together so that we can digest it together. I'll probably be reading through all the acceptance criteria, and then we'll have notes to for you to read on your own. And then if you have any questions post-meeting or async, we can discuss them here in the comments. So for the second issue, as a user, I want to read all of my shopping lists and the items in them. The most important feature of our app is the ability to look at their shopping lists to see what's on them, so the user knows what they need to buy. For this to work, we'll have to be able to choose our shopping lists. The list, the active shopping list, and home, where the users will be able to switch shopping lists, components are the best place in our code to do that. In fact, this feature is already partially implemented. You can refer to the acceptance criteria in this issue and the existing code to understand the work that remains. The list component is rendered on the list page. Because currently, you'll have to type that path into your browser's address bar. So the acceptance criteria, it looks like some of these are already checked, just as they said in the summary. So the ones that they've already tackled are: the use shopping lists hook is used in app.jsx to get the shopping lists a user has access to from the database. And the lists are passed into the home component as a prop name data. The setListPath function is passed into the home component so we can update the current list. The use shopping list data hook is used in app.jsx to get the items in the current list from the Firestore database. And the list is passed in the list component as a prop name data. So for this week, the final 2 acceptance criteria that need to be done for this issue are: in the home JSX file, a single list component is used to render the name of each shopping list a user is subscribed to. And in the list JSX file, the list item component is used to render the name of each item. It seems like blah, 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 blah words. What they're trying to say is a lot of the fetch for the data has already been hooked up and passed in as props to the different components. So what you'll need to do is work on rendering the data that's already been piped through. Does that make sense? Do you have any immediate questions for this issue? Okay, awesome. Cool. So if there's no immediate questions for this issue, we'll go on to the next issue. Oh, and then I think I mentioned that we're not going to be reading the notes, but the notes are really important for you to read on your own, because sometimes there's tips and tricks in here, or things that people often will like go down a rabbit hole down, and they say you don't have to do that. So this is a really important section that I would read every time for your own issues. All right. So for the next issue, this is going to be for Dilek and Gabrielle. We're going to be doing, as a user, I want to be able to navigate to all the pages in the application by clicking the links in the nav bar. Users need to be able to navigate between the pages of our application in order to access all of its features. There is a navigation bar in the layout JSX component, but it's not quite feature complete. The links in the nav element don't actually allow the user to navigate from page to page. Problematic. All right, so the acceptance criteria is the nav element is added to the layout component. Links to the home list and add item pages of the app are in the nav element. So the final thing that needs to be done this week are the links all function as expected using the nav link component from the React router DOM. So does that make sense to you all? So just so you know, it seems like the earlier issues might not have too much, like, what would you call, too much coding to them, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to make, in the earlier phases of Collab Lab, make it easier for you to get used to the whole collaboration part. A lot, at least in my experience, a lot of my time was spent coding on my own in the beginning. And so Collab Lab was a huge shift in mindset from working on my own project to working as a team. So as the weeks go on, there will be meatier, what do you call it, issues. But definitely this first few weeks, it's time to kind of get into the collaboration mindset and work together to work through these different acceptance criteria. All right. Are there any other questions? All right, I'm sharing for now. Oh, cool. So, after doing the issues, what were the other items on the agenda today?
One of the things we definitely have to talk about is office hours, but Danielle, was there anything else that we need to cover before we do that?
I think office hours and code review. After you get the two folks from the other team to review, ping me, and I'm the mentor code reviewer this week.
That's awesome. Cool. And then office hours, we'll do something very similar to what we did, getting aligned on the weekly sync. So I'll send out a doodle. Office hours are optional. What's really great about office hours is they're not just for the immediate issues that you're working on. It's essentially for anything. So anything that has to do with collaboration, what's happening in the tech field, what does our tech stack look like? Any questions that you have, we'll be more than happy to answer those. And so for this week, yeah, AMA style, I love that. For this week, it'll just be me. And then so once we get that doodle out, I'll set up a time. I'll send that out. And then if you can join, I'd love it. If you can't, no worries, no hard feelings. And we'll go from there.
Oh, and one more thing to mention. I plopped this in the TCL 75, but we're already pretty over time, and I don't want to keep people for too long. If you all could do us a favor, click on the deployed project, sign in, so your user gets created. And then the rest, us mentors, if one or all of us are comfortable with creating a list, because creating a list is step 3, but we need to have a test list for step 1 and 2, maybe. I don't know. I'm off by 1 anyway. But awesome. Yeah, I think that's the last thing for me. And also just like in regards to like if you have questions or need help, just know that someone will respond to you. We are in different time zones, so it's possible that you may need to wait a few hours. I have a day job where my DMs are very busy. So it might take me a little while to respond to you, and it might be the same for other folks. But I think maybe just like a general rule is like, let's maybe commit to making sure that we respond to people within like 6 hours or something like that, if you guys are cool with that. Obviously, if you're pinged in the middle of the night, like, be reasonable about it. But yeah.
The other thing I would definitely recommend is everyone just mute their notifications. I have a 3-year-old. When he goes to sleep is a lot of when like I can get my work done. So if you woke up today and saw your Slack notifications and saw a few pings from last night, I apologize. Just mute your notifications. Nothing important. Just testing has to be done live, and so everyone gets added. So again, my apologies. Just turn on your notifications. Just pause them.
Yeah, a lot of my working life living on the West Coast has been people on the East Coast not really realizing other time zones exist. No offense to Eastern time zone people. I actually grew up in the Eastern time zone, so I totally get that mindset. Most Americans live there. Well, and even Canadians too, because Toronto. Sorry, Hassan. But yeah, I totally get it. Yeah, if you are a West Coast person and you work with a distributed company, it's definitely going to be a way of life. So definitely muting and setting expectations is super important. But awesome. Yeah, so Asan will send out a doodle, ping me to code review. I would advise that you get with your partner sooner than later in the week. Because the goal is to get this merged in so you all can demo it next meeting. So, and we'll show you how the demos go. Just trying to keep it more low key. Like you'll show us what you did, how it works, demo how it works, And then usually like maybe the partner will talk through the code. And then sometimes people have really great questions. So it's a little scary at first, but the more you do it, it will really prepare you for interviews. That's the feedback I've gotten from past Collabbies. But yeah, I think that's all I had, unless anyone else has something. Cool. Yeah. See you online and see you next week.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.